Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out the website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'll be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation's discussion. And today we're going to be doing a bit of a follow-up to the events of Boruto Chapter 70. In particular, I want to talk to you guys about Code, now that he's gotten his limits taken off, and just how insane Code is about to become. So for over a year now, we've basically been counting down to this very moment, the much anticipated moment where Code has his limiters removed and his god level power goes from the Code who we know to being the Code who is stronger than Jigen. However, in the last chapter, there was something that one of my patrons pointed out in the Patreon Discord server, which is that one of the first things that Code did was look down at his karma, indicating that there might have been a boost to his karma seal. Now, when Code's limiters were initially taken off, I initially focused on the change in his eyes and began to wonder, was Code potentially in possession of a Dojutsu ability? However, now that my patron pointed out that the karma was the first thing that he looked at, I think we're in a situation where both of these things might very well be true. Code, his karma might have gotten a boost in power, and Code might very well be in possession of Dojutsu powers, and I don't think this is a stretch either. Presently, Code without limiters has his full power unlocked. He has true understanding of how to use karma to the point where his knowledge of the karma surprised even Kawaki, who was pretty well informed about the workings of karma due to being Jigen's personal punching bag for several years, going so far as to state that Boruto and Kawaki were only in possession of surface level understanding of tapping into karma, and that they only had truly managed to gain the benefits of the chakra boost that karma gives, not the full access to the Otsutsuki's powers and skills and knowledge, which leads me to this current version of Code, and why Code got so excited when he looked down at his karma seal and got his limiters taken off and proceeded to say that he was absolutely unstoppable. Now that his limiter has been taken off and any restrictions to his power are gone, including the restrictions to his karma seal, power that he previously couldn't use should be at his disposal right now, which is why I believe that his eyes changed the moment that Amato said, "There is no more dress code." If Kawaki's able to use the Dojutsu powers of Isshiki, it shouldn't be that far of a stretch to say that Code should be able to a certain extent, be able to tap into the Dojutsu powers of Isshiki as well. However, due to Code's karma being a white karma seal that doesn't come with the full benefits of a black karma, it makes sense that there would be a limit to the Dojutsu powers themselves. Isshiki Otsutsuki and his vessels have access to Dojutsu powers of an unnamed Dojutsu that takes on the appearance of the Dharma Wheel, also known as the 8 Trifold Path. One power of the eye is the Daikokuden, which allows the user to store objects into a dimension where time doesn't flow and retrieve objects from that same dimension, doing so at a speed where the Sharingan struggles to track it, and 6 Path Sage Mode has trouble tracking the speed as well. The giveaway to this would be when the eye pattern change and the spokes begin to shift in the eye. Currently, Code's eye has no spokes, it just has the dots on it, but this could be due to the fact that his karma seal is merely weaponized and it's not a complete karma. Just as his body can't absorb ninjutsu when he uses karma, it would make sense that his true essence of karma comes with a drawback of not being able to fully manifest the eye itself, which would explain the potential issue of the Dojutsu powers not being at their full strength as well. When we look at the Naruto manga, there's actually some precedent already established that watered down usage of Dojutsu abilities of a user is still possible. Shisui in the Ninja Escapades OVA, written by Masashi Kishimoto, briefly pulled out the Susanoo with only one eye. Madara pulled out a weakened version of the Susanoo with no eyes in the manga and merely just existing off the residential chakra that was pulled inside of his eye sockets. He had that Susanoo. Itachi maintained Susanoo briefly despite his eyes going completely blind and being devoid of any type of light. It makes sense to continue this pattern here with Code. After all, we've already seen different stages of Isshiki's Dojutsu when it comes to Isshiki and his vessels anyway. You saw the Dojutsu at its peak power when Isshiki was resurrected, how easily he shrank the flames that Kashin Koji summoned, and he did so with his Sukuna Hikona in order to shrink the flames and simultaneously stored them in his Daikokuten dimension, which in the anime version, he then turned around and retrieved those very same flames during the Baryon mode battle. With Isshiki, the speed was on a completely different level than what we saw with Jigen, something that Kashin Koji noted during their battle. With Jigen, the speed at which he used the Dojutsu abilities, it was still very impressive, but it was slow enough that Sasuke with his sharingan was able to break down the specifics of the Dojutsu that Jigen was using and point out the weaknesses that so far appear to only apply to Jigen himself, which is the fact that while absorbing jutsu while shrunken down into that 1-inch form severely limits the mobility of the user, which is why Sasuke arrogantly began slowly walking to take his time to draw out his sword and attempt to stab Jigen at that time because Jigen's movements were slowed down. With Kawaki, though he's still getting the hang of using his power, his summoning speed was still pretty quick, but it's worth noting that Naruto is still able to see the chakra cubes being summoned from the Daikokuten dimension, rush towards Boruto, use Frog Kumite to knock them away as he grabbed Boruto to jump to safety, though this is very likely due to Kawaki 1 having a karma that stuck at 80% extraction, and 2 still getting used to using his power at that time, which by Kawaki's own words, he was still getting the hang of it. The natural progression from a perfect mastery in the form of Isshiki to a borderline mastery in Jigen to a growing mastery in Kawaki is to have Code continue the showcase by showing partial mastery due to the fact that it's limited due to his karma not being a complete karma. It would add a new layer of danger to Code. It's one thing for him to be strong for the sake of being stronger in order to establish a threat level, but as we've seen, when your power augments or comes with a set of hacks abilities, it takes an already strong character and it makes them deadly. For instance, if Code's usage of these powers comes with a slowed down speed or a time limit of sorts, it still serves to make him effectively dangerous while still making it clear that he's upgraded. Another potential, one that gets me very excited, is that his claw marks don't have to be manually applied anymore because he could merely summon them with his Daikokuten or already have them planted on the battlefield and have them resized using Sukuna Hikona when it comes to him starting to attack and teleport. That would make Code broken to a point where he's downright scary. Dude, can you imagine how overpowered Code would be if that was the case? Where you just slap boxing with this man, you think that you got him cornered, and then all of a sudden all these claw marks pop up around the battlefield and this dude's able to teleport because they came out of nowhere? Bruh.
Oh, boy! Yeah!
However, based off the fact that he's gotten a power boost and you look down at his karma right away, that power up that he got is some ability that's linked down to his karma. My belief is that it might be a watered down dojutsu just based off of how true essence of karma works, but I'm curious to hear from you guys on this matter. What do you think Code's new power is? Do you agree that since Kawaki and Jigen using true essence were able to tap into weaker versions of Isshiki's dojutsu powers, that Code in theory should be able to tap into it as well? Or do you have your own idea for why Code looked down at his karma? I'm very curious. Let me know down in the comment section below, but as always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.